because I wasn't, mad at him. It wasn't.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Todd Warren, as well as meteorologist Josh Marsh is here in the Forecast Center. We have our first couple of tornado warnings that have been issued by the National Weather Service. One of those warnings is dealing with a confirmed tornado that is just about ready to move into the western edge of our area. You can see the purple box blinking here. That is a tornado warning that is in effect until 5 p.m. for Franklin County here in northeast Texas, as well as the northern and northwestern sections of Titus County. You can see this particular storm here. Let's give you a look at the rotation aspect of this, and you can see right in here, this is where we're looking at our possible tornado, which is several miles to the south and the east of Mount Vernon. This will continue to move probably a little bit east, or I should say west and north of Mount Vernon as it moves towards the north and east. We also have a second tornado warning that has just been issued by the National Weather Service for a storm here, which is in Harrison County. And this rotation looks much more prominent, as you can see here. Again, what we're looking for is on this particular display, red is the motion of the rain within the thunderstorm away from the radar, greens are towards. So we do have our possible tornado here that is basically a little bit to the east of Walker's Mill and a little bit to the west of Nesbitt. Looks like it's fairly close to Bond Road. There's Sam Hill Road. Kind of gives you a breakdown on the more exact location of this possible tornado here in Harrison County. Again, this warning does include basically Harrison County as well as parts of Marion County until 5:15 p.m. This evening. And let's go back to the radar here and kind of show you what we could be looking at as far as where this cell could be going. Yet it is moving towards the north and east. So as we switch this over to Future Scan, this will give you a visual representation on the motion of the storm here during the course of the next hour. So put this in the motion. You can see it does look like it could arrive in the, this continues in that motion. This is the cell right in here in the motion of it during the next hour, and you can see it probably will arrive in or get very close to the Jefferson, Texas area by about 5:15. So that's again the possible path that this system, that particular possible tornado could take. Now again, it is a little bit to the north and west of Marshall. Let's give you a look at the camera there in downtown Marshall, as we do have more than likely this cell will stay to the west and north of Marshall as we give you a look at that particular camera in downtown Marshall. This is a view of the Bear Creek Smokehouse camera, and you can see that this is looking back towards the north and west. The storm is probably in that direction and will move several miles to the north and west of Marshall. So we'll be keeping an eye on this particular view of this storm as it moves across the especially northern sections of Marion County, probably to the north and west of downtown Marshall. So that's what we're looking at right now as far as the two cells that we have across the area. Let's give you an overall view as we wait for new data to come in here, as we do have a tornado watch that is in effect basically for northeast Texas, Sevier, Little River, and Miller counties in southwest Arkansas, as well as McCurtain County here in southeast Oklahoma. You can see these scattered showers and thunder showers which have developed here during the course of the afternoon, and we're starting to see, we've noticed a little bit of weak rotation from some of these storms, but this one is the first and strongest rotation that we've seen here so far in Harrison County. And just kind of give you a look that we do have, again, this confirmed tornado on the ground, and that storm is just about ready to cross into the far western sections of Franklin County in Texas. Now, further to the west, we do have a pretty good cluster of thunderstorms which have been producing some very large hail that have been moving fairly close to the Red River. You can see the storms here as we switch over to the radar out of Fort Worth. This cell here is worth watching as it's moving towards the north and east, and more than likely will eventually move into the western sections of McCurtain County. As I'll pause the radar here, and again, it is moving towards the northeast at around 45 miles per hour. So grab the measuring tool, and you can see that it is moving in this general direction. So it's about an hour away from the western sections of McCurtain County. So a little bit before 6 o'clock, between 5:30 and 6, we could see this storm and the hail that is producing, as well as the damaging winds, perhaps move across the northern half of McCurtain County between, say, 5:45 and 6:30 is when that would be moving across that part of McCurtain County. So you folks in McCurtain County, keep an eye on that storm, and of course we'll be doing that as well as we go through the next couple of hours. Probably have some new data in with this cell that is in Harrison County, so let's switch back over to the radar out of Shreveport. You can see the storm that we're concerned about is right here, a few miles to the south east of Harleton. Just for you folks in Marshall, put you in perspective, it is several miles to the northwest of Marshall. Marshall right here are possible tornadoes about 10 miles to the northwest of Marshall. And again, this is moving up towards the Jefferson, Texas area. You folks in Jefferson, might be a good idea to head to your place of safety, that room in your house that's in the middle of the house. In fact, let's go through, since this is our first warning of the afternoon and evening, just a kind of a recap on what you should do when a tornado warning is issued. Again, tornado warning means that a tornado is expected to develop, or will soon develop, or has been spotted. And in our part of the country, we don't have basements, but that means you basically have to find put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. First rule is stay away from windows. A bathroom is a good place to go. A hallway in the middle of the house, or a small closet, some small room in the middle of the house. Take a pillow or a cushion, and you should be pretty much okay in most instances as tornadoes move through the region. So let's give you an update on the exact location of this particular possible tornado, as again it continues to move off towards the north and east. And as we zero in, you can see some of the roadways here. I'm going to try to make these roads bigger. This is looks like for Trail Road. Probably will stay to the west of there. This is Driscoll Bridge Road. So along this road here, it will eventually move into that particular part of Harrison County. And just to kind of put things in perspective, here is Woodlawn, so that's several miles to the west of Woodlawn. So that kind of gives you a street level look at where this could eventually go. And further downstream, see if we can get some more roads to cross. It looks like where Driscoll Bridge Road connects with Laws Road, that intersection right here could be basically in the neighborhood of where this could go. We could see this possible tornado move right along Driscoll Bridge Road, maybe a little bit to the north of that as it continues to progress towards the north and northeast. Go ahead, John.
Some of the other roads there, I can see a little bit over here. It's Sid Craver Road, I believe, and Jackson Road that would intercept with Driscoll Bridge Road, and that's where that area of rotation would be. One other note while we wait for some more data on the storms, we actually do have a storm that is right over the radar site in Shreveport, so it doesn't look that impressive when you look at it on radar, but this is passing very close to the Weather Service office, and they said they are seeing some weak rotation with that storm as well. So maybe in a few minutes here I'll be able to go out and take a look at that one myself, but they say there is a lowering on that storm and they are seeing some weak rotation with it. It doesn't look impressive on radar because it is over the radar site, but something to keep an eye on in Shreveport and Bossier City as well. Currently no warning out for that storm.
Well, thanks, Josh. And there is another weak rotation there on the other side of Marshall that you mentioned, Josh, before we came on the air. Here between Marshall and Karnak, this area here worth watching, too, as it moves up eventually towards Cattle Lake. At least the western sections of Cattle Lake is where that will be going. So we're starting to see a little bit more spin on some of these showers and thunderstorms that have developed across the area. Let's go back to our storm here that is moving into Franklin County. Again, this is not really showing up very well here on the radar. I'm going to switch over to the traditional view here and kind of give you a look here. This is the area of concern, which is west of Mount Pleasant, and I'll put this into motion here during the past hour, and you can see that this is moving towards the northeast. So Hagensport more than likely will stay a little bit to the west of Talco, but you folks in Talco need to watch this very closely, as you can clearly see the motion of this towards the northeast, and that motion would take it up towards close to Bogota. Should cross 271 between Talco and Bogota, the way it looks right now, probably passing closer to Bogota than Talco as it moves off towards the north and east. And let me show you this one with Future Scan, and maybe this will give us another visual representation on this particular cell. So this is the cell right here, and you can kind of see it. Future Scan takes it a little bit closer to Talco, but it looks to me as if it is moving a little bit more towards the northeast. But sometimes these things do turn a little bit towards the right. So you folks in Clarksville, here in the southwestern corner of Red River County, need to watch this particular thunderstorm. And again, the purple box means that we do have a confirmed tornado with that particular cell, which again is in right now over the western edge of Franklin County. This particular warning here is in effect until 5 o'clock. And again, back to our storm in Harrison County. This tornado warning is in effect until 5:15 for parts of Harrison County. It looks like it's just about ready to cross into Marion County. And just showing you the motion of this, it more than likely will stay to the west of Jefferson, probably passing midway between Jefferson and the eastern edge of Lake of the Pines is where that looks like. Again, our possible tornado right here would eventually go, and eventually northern sections of Marion County, southern Cass County is where that could eventually head here in the next hour, half hour to an hour. Josh mentioned the storm that is caught the eye of the Weather Service here in Shreveport. You can see this cell right in here, which is just about ready to cross over Cross Lake right now, and this is going to move into basically the northern sections of Shreveport. This is I-220. Here's the intersection of 220 and I-49, and you can see as I zoom this out that this is going to move up into the Blanchard area, parts of North Shreveport. There's the split between 71 and 1. We're located right about in here, so this is going to pass just to the north and west of the station here on the North Market, and that is the cell that is going to be watched very, very closely, since it is showing a few signs of a little bit of rotation. As you folks in Benton also keep an eye on that one as well. Of course, we'll let you know if we do see anything in terms of more rotation.
And it looks like the rotation there that's moving into Marion County has tightened up.
Okay.
So maybe strengthening or trying to recirculate there.
I'll zoom back in. Thanks, Josh. We've got a lot of different areas we've got to keep an eye on. It's nice to have two eyes on it. So let me, two sets of eyes, I should say. Let's zero in, and you can see the latest location of this. I'm going to try to get this zoomed in so we can get some of the smaller rows to pop on here. Again, it is crossing Driscoll Bridge Road there. That is very close to that Sid Craver Road, if I'm reading that correctly, is where this possible tornado is currently located. It is going to continue to move towards the northeast. Here's Laws Road, so it's going to cross Laws Road. See if I can get that other roads to pop on here, and you can see that that we will see this continue. Just trying to get some other roadways to pop on, but you can see in perspective. Here's Jefferson, and I'll let this play out here, and you'll kind of get a sense for you folks maybe watching in Jefferson and wondering if you're going to be impacted. You can clearly see that this is probably going to pass to the west of Jefferson, and probably, here's Lake of the Pines, probably cross Texas Highway 49 here, a couple of miles to the north and west of Jefferson, and then head up and cross US 59, somewhere close to maybe a little bit north of the Cass-Marion County line. So that's, again, the possible path that this possible tornado could be taking here. Again, so far, no confirmation. Again, you notice here, just to make a point, that on the map here we have two tornado warnings. One of them is purple, one of them is red. The purple means that we have confirmation that there is a tornado on the ground. The red flashing box there means that there is you can see the strong rotation, but nothing has been confirmed that there is something on the ground yet. Let's switch over to see if we can see anything. Since this rotation is somewhat strong, let's give you a look at, see if we're seeing anything as far as debris, which would be some visual confirmation. And it looks like nothing really evident there. So there's nothing as far as evidence on the radar that we have debris. You're probably hearing the roar from my microphone. That is that storm that I just mentioned that was crossing Cross Lake that's now moving over the northern sections of Shreveport. So that's the sound you're hearing, in case you're wondering, the sound of the rain hitting the roof here in the studio. So again, so far no confirmation from that particular cell. Let's check back in, and we mentioned this cell here. That is, these things are racing towards the north and northeast. It's already beginning to move into the Marion County. In fact, let me go ahead and switch back over to the velocity scan, and you can see that nothing really. You have to keep an eye on this. There is a weak rotation here just to the west of Karnak, but not strong enough yet to prompt a warning for that one. You folks in Smithland should keep an eye on that, and eventually perhaps McLeod. Those are areas that this storm, which is weakly rotating, could impact. Again, zero in on the cell here, which is in Shreveport. There is some subtle indication. Switch this. I'm going to pause this and go back and forth between the two here. And this is the area, this is the cell that we're watching right now in Shreveport that the Weather Service indicated there was some weak rotation earlier. Being this close to the radar, it is a little bit more difficult to detect. And this would be the area that we would watch. Again, it is just about ready to cross Louisiana Highway 150. Can't quite read that. The font's so small. But you can see where it is near the Cooper Road area right now. But again, there is no warning for that one yet. We're just closely watching it as it moves into the northwestern sections of Shreveport, as well as the Blanchard, Louisiana area. Elsewhere, you can see the cells further to the south around Mansfield. So far, these aren't causing any issues. Further to the south, nothing more as far as rainfall. You can see we do have a few thunderstorms here, and one in Claiborne Parish, another one north of Louisville. These also not causing any concerns. In Texarkana, a bit of a break right now, but you got all these storms in East Texas which are going to be heading your way. So let's give you another update on the cell here that is currently moving into the western half of Marion County, and you can see just the latest update on that one as far as the velocity scan of the radar. You can see we still have the tight rotation. Again, strong outbounds. There's the rain in, and there is the possible tornado here, which is now in Marion County. And see if we can get some of these rows to pop on. Don't see anything that I can identify, but just kind of put it in perspective. There is the far eastern edge of Lake of the Pines. It looks like this is going to cross. Grab the measuring tool here. Moving in this general direction, this will basically move 2 or 3 miles, call it 2.5 miles to the east of the eastern tip of Lake of the Pines is where that could eventually go. And just kind of zoom this out some, you can see where it could go as it crosses Texas Highway 49. Again, several miles, 3 or 4 miles to the north and west of Jefferson, and then continues to move up towards Lanier. If you're in the Lanier area, keep an eye on this cell as well, as that is, again, going to be moving your way. Josh, do you have a speed on that particular thunderstorm?
That one they're saying 35, but I've timed it out. It looks like it is going a little faster, so you could probably draw that one out at 40.
Okay.
But that one will be headed up towards, it looks like it's going to stay maybe just to the west of Jefferson, so that would be headed up towards Burford and Kellyville, crossing Highway 49, just in a matter of minutes. So in those locations, go to your safe place there. And it looks like there's another cell that's just south of it that is between Tatum and Darko. It doesn't have a warning on it, but it's also showing some rotation. It's actually a pretty impressive looking storm just on radar that we'll have to keep an eye on as well. Also have some storms firing up in DeSoto Parish, which will eventually move up towards Shreveport as well. So there's definitely a lot of cells that we're watching, and we have seen an uptick in this activity over the last 30 minutes. So we're just going to wait for some of the data to come in. We do have a lot of storm chaser others that are on the cell in Talco that is moving up through Franklin and Titus and eventually into Red River counties. Right now they're saying there's some strong rotation or a rotating wall cloud on that storm, but at the moment it does not have a tornado with it on the ground. But there are a number of people watching that storm, so if it were to put down a tornado, we would know about it pretty quickly, so we'll keep an eye on that one. But it looks like the most dangerous storm at the moment would be the one that is moving into Marion County. Todd?
Thanks, Josh. And you mentioned 40 miles per hour. Let me go ahead and track that one out as far as that particular speed, and I may have to zoom out my map. It looks like I'm going to try to draw this out. We'll just call it third. That's about as far out as I can go. So let's assume you can kind of get a sense on the possible timing. So very close to Lanier here at 522. Probably will pass close to maybe a little bit east, but very close to you folks in the Linden, Texas area here in the next half hour at about 5:30. So that shows you, again, further downstream where this particular thunderstorm could be going. And from there, it will probably move a little bit to the east of Atlanta and Queen City, and then head up towards Wright-Patman. And just kind of zoom this out even more, let me clean that off and put this into motion, and you can kind of get a sense on where our possible tornado here is going, the direction that it's going. So I'm going to show you, assume as Josh mentioned, 40 miles per hour. It looks like it's, I'm going to try to get a sense for the direction here, looks like it's moving in this general sense. So about 40 miles an hour from now, it'll be moving across Wright-Patman. So about 6 o'clock, we'll see this moving fairly close to Wright-Patman. And then eventually you can see crosses Interstate 30. That's about an hour and 15 minutes from now, so about 6:15. And then if it continues and holds together long enough, we're probably looking at it getting close to the Ashdown area here in the next hour and a half, 2 hours. So again, 6:30, 7 o'clock. Again, that's a long time from now, given a storm like this, but still that kind of gives you a sense of when this activity could be all the way up into that particular part of southwestern Arkansas. Josh mentioned the storm here in Franklin County, and that there are spotters here. Notice that the tornado warning has expired in that particular area, and now we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for this particular thunderstorm. As we'll have to keep an eye on this. This is now moving into the northern sections of Franklin County. This will, as I mentioned earlier, move up close to Bogota and eventually up towards Clarksville in the next hour. Again, this new severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for those areas. Pause the radar here. That's in effect until 5:45. So again, the tornado warning that was issued for Franklin County, that was the first of the day, has expired. And now we do have a severe thunderstorm warning here for basically the northern edge of Franklin County and the southwestern half of Red River County. Again, that severe thunderstorm warning is currently in place for that particular part of the area. Go ahead, Josh.
We do have two new warnings. So the cell that we had just mentioned that was approaching Marshall. So this would be the storm that's moving out of Tatum and Darko. We just had one tornado warning for Harrison County. That original warning has been canceled for Harrison County, but we now have this next storm. This would be the cell moving out of Darko towards Marshall. We'll probably get a pretty good look at that one on the camera in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. But the area of rotation there, it is going to be passing very close to Marshall. So if you're in Marshall or some of the surrounding areas, need to get to your place of safety right now. And the storm that we were watching in Marion County, which is the strongest storm at the moment, they have extended that tornado warning now until 5:30, and that is also going to include portions of Cass County now as well. So that is just an extension of the warning of the storm that we are currently watching there. Again, nothing confirmed with those, just radar indicated that there are possible tornadoes there. And the storm that's next door to it, that's moving up to Smithland, not currently warned, but you can see the radar presentation of this is very similar to the other cells. So this is probably trying to do the same thing. So if you're in the south end of Cass County, not only one, but I think we may have another cell here that is trying to spin up a tornado as well. So Cass County over the next hour is where these cells will be moving. Todd?
Thanks, Josh. So we got things picking up in terms of these cells starting to spin somewhat across the area. Josh mentioned the newest tornado warning here that is in effect for basically Harrison County. You can see the cell here. Let's show you what that looks like here with the velocity scan of the radar. And you can see right now that it looks like this is just a little bit to the west of Texas Highway 43. It looks like that road there is Fife cutoff, if I'm reading that correctly. Red Oak Road, as this will pass and probably move fairly close to and parallel to Texas Highway 43 as it leads up into the Marshall, Texas area. So if you're in Marshall, you should be in your place of safety right now as that storm is going to be headed your way. Again, it's moving, let's assume, to the north at around 40 miles per hour. Show you the ETA, how far it is from Marshall. Again, that puts it about 15 minutes from making its way into the Marshall area. So about 5:20 or so, we'll see this storm move into and through the Marshall, Texas area. Elsewhere, I mentioned and Josh just mentioned the rotation here around Smithland. Kind of raggedy. That's why this is not warned. Again, we do have the extension, as Josh mentioned, probably the most impressive rotation that we've seen here on the radar for this cell, which is just about ready to cross Texas Highway 49 here, and it looks like it'll do so at the intersection of 49, and that is looks like Kellyville Road is where that possible tornado could cross there in Marion County. And just a quick look at see if we can see any debris detected by the radar. There is a few specks there, so that's something to keep an eye on moving forward. As again, notice the red boxes here. Once these tornado warnings get confirmed that we have something on the ground, these red boxes will turn to purple. So Josh mentioned the camera in Marshall. Let's take a quick look at the camera in downtown Marshall, and you can see that probably all is quiet right now, but that things will go downhill. As you can see, it is raining there, cloudy as you might expect. Not much wind, but that will likely change as that storm, which is again a good 10 miles southwest of Marshall, begins to move up towards that particular part of the area. So we'll keep a close eye on that camera there in downtown Marshall. Let's go back to the radar and give you a summary of the storms that we're looking at across the Arklatex. And again, we have two tornado warnings here in East Texas. There is a tornado watch that is currently in place basically for the northwestern sections of the Arklatex. Take a look at the tornado watches which are currently in place, and we just have that one tornado watch. Does include all of northeast Texas. You can see it also includes the Miller, Little River, and Sevier counties in Arkansas, as well as McCurtain County there in northeast Texas. So again, this is the area of concern here as we go through the next several hours. And as we wait for new data to come in, as far as the rest of the Arklatex, so let me show you, again, there's much more to come here later on this evening. As we switch over to a national view of radar here and show you what's going to be happening. You can see the basically the line of thunderstorms which has developed over basically the western sections of Texas here. You can see the activity we have here in the Arklatex, but as I switch over to the national radar, you can see that big line of storms here. Other side of Dallas, you can see the numerous severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings in effect because of this. This is going to begin to move, all of this is going to begin to move into our area here very late this evening. Probably 8, 9 o'clock, we'll see it arrive across the western and northwestern sections of the area, and it'll take several hours for it to move through. This will pose that wind risk, maybe a little bit of hail, as well as a few tornadoes possible from that. So again, we have these storms now. Those will eventually move out of our area, and then we have that line. So kind of a 1-2 punch as far as severe weather threats here during the evening hours this evening, as well as much of the nighttime hours tonight. Let's switch back over to the radar in Shreveport and zero back in on those storms here, which are occurring in parts of East Texas. Again, we do have the two tornado warnings that are currently in place. The cell that is in Marion County right now is crossing Texas Highway 49. Let's show you that one, and you can see right now crossing Texas Highway 49 probably very close to the intersection of Texas Highway 49 and Kellyville Road. Berea, it looks like it's going to get very close to that area and eventually cross Liberty Road, that particular region. So Berea is right in the path of this. Let's move further downstream, and you can see Dreesen Road. Here's U.S. Highway 59, so you can kind of see some of the communities that will be impacted from this possible tornado there in Marion County. Back down to the south, let's switch you to the storm that is now southwest of Marshall. It is getting very close to the Harrison and Cass County. Actually, it's already in Harrison County, but it is getting close to crossing I-20 here, and it looks like it is going to cross I-20 a little bit to the west of Texas Highway 43. I mentioned earlier that this is going to continue to track close to and pretty much parallel to Texas Highway 43. So it's going to be moving here shortly into the southwestern sections of the Marshall, Texas area.
And I believe we have debris now with the cell going into Berea, Todd. So it's lining up if you want to take a look at it. But I believe we do have a tornado on the ground. No confirmation. I think just based on what we're seeing on radar, there is a tornado on the ground approaching Berea at the moment here.
All right, so again, this is what this particular product does is that it knows what the radar knows what rain, basically weather stuff looks like, rain, hail, all that kind of stuff. When it sees something that's not those shapes, that is what it's looking for. This particular product is looking for, and you can see this right here. And as I'm going to switch this over to the velocity scan of the radar, and you'll see how this matches up with the. There you go. See how that? Here's our, I would say now confirmed tornado, and we do have again the debris signature that is indicated here. So we do now have pretty much confirmation that this is producing has touched down. Go ahead, Josh.
We do have a confirmed tornado now on the ground. This is going to be the cell that is just to the west of Talco. It just moved through Hagensport. We'll be crossing Highway 271. So you can see the Weather Service has now put a confirmed tornado warning on that one. That tornado warning is for Red River County in Texas. This cell will be crossing 271. We'll be headed up towards Clarksville. So Clarksville now, locations there in and around Clarksville need to be in your place of safety. It looks like with this cell moving probably, this one's listed at 40 miles per hour. It's about 20 miles away from you. So again, next 15 to 20 minutes, this will be moving up into the Clarksville area. So be in your place of safety there. That is a confirmed tornado. Spotters are on that one and have confirmed that there is a tornado on the ground there. Previously had done some damage just outside of Franklin County. So likely right now that we do have 2 tornadoes on the ground. Todd? Thanks,
Josh. Again, the second one is here in Marion County. So you can see the latest on the debris signature which has moved, and try to get this road to pop on. That looks like Liberty Road and Berea. That is where our tornado is currently located, more than likely here in Marion County, and it is going to continue to move up towards basically move up towards White Oak, maybe a little bit to the east of there, and then you can see Lanier also in the path of this, and pretty close to Pruitt as well. So White Oak, Pruitt, and the Lanier communities should be in your place of safety. Just kind of give you a sense on the timing of this. Again, moving towards the northeast at around 40. So it's not going to take very long, as you can see here, as this cell is going to move pretty close to Lanier here in the next say 10 or 15 minutes. We'll see it all the way up here in the southern sections of Cass County. Again, you can see this is what our debris signature indicated on the radar, and you can see that how that matches up with the rotation, which does not look as impressive now as it did. And the debris signature also looks like it's not as pronounced as it once was. So that could be a sign that this rotation, this tornado may be showing some signs of weakening there. Let's go back down to Harrison County. You can see this cell does look much more impressive in terms of that velocity scan, as we have our possible tornado which crossed. This is I-20 here, south of Marshall. It crossed I-20 just a little bit to the west of Texas Highway 43, and it continues to make its way up towards the Marshall, Texas area. Right now, it looks like it's soon going to be crossing Cooks Road. It's eventually going to move up into the western sections of Marshall. You can see this is West End Boulevard, where that probably a little bit, it'll move very close to and maybe a little bit west of Texas Highway 43 and move across the western sections of Marshall. So right along West End Boulevard and points to the west of there. This is the part of Marshall that we will have to watch very closely. Again, our camera is in downtown Marshall looking that way. So in the next few minutes, we'll get a sense, maybe a pretty good picture of this cell as it moves through the western edge of Marshall. It does look like we have some new data which has come in. And you can see, try to make some of those roads pop back on. It looks like some of the smaller, oh, there we go. So you can see it's very close to Fisher Road. There's Meadow Lane. Again, it is a little bit north of Cooks Road now, since I have some of these smaller roads popping on here. And again, here's West Houston Street, and eventually up towards Henson Springs Road, north of basically that is Highway 80. There is where it'll basically move in this general direction here across the western edge of the Marshall, Texas area. Let's take a quick look at the camera there in downtown Marshall and take a live view of that. And again, the camera right now downtown looking back towards the north and west. And as the storm moves across the western edge of Marshall, we should have a pretty good view of this as it especially crosses U.S. Highway 80 here in the next several minutes. So we'll be watching the camera.
And there's, Todd, there's a lot of people out there. You know, a lot of people getting off work at this time.
That's true.
So, and you know that we have that tornado-warned storm going right in there. So if you know anyone that's getting off of work in Marshall, just tell them to hang out for the next 30 minutes or so.
That's true. And get this cell through here. We'll take a bit of a pause. So again, that is the view from downtown Marshall. This camera looking back towards the west. You can see the wind has picked up as the storm begins to approach the western edge, or at least the western half of Marshall, Texas. If you live on the western edge of Marshall, you definitely should be in your place of safety, as we do have, again, that possible tornado, which is right now moving into the far western sections of Marshall. Here's the Quinney community there. Let's see if this, I'm going to try and make this road pop on. It is very close to Fisher Drive. Again, we should be looking at some new data, which will come in any minute now with this possible tornado. And just kind of zoom out, we did have other areas of rotation. Again, we had the storm that moved through Shreveport, no evidence of issues with that one. We had a little bit of rotation that we were watching that moved through Smithland. That doesn't look too impressive right now, and you can see the latest here as far as what's left of the rotation with that storm, which did again touch down, as we pretty much assume we had a debris ball, a signature on the radar. Let's take a look at that and show you what it is showing here. And you can see that put this into motion as well, and it does look like we still have some possible debris indicated here. Again, this is where the radar sees stuff that is not weather related, if you will, odd shapes. So let's see how this matches up with the velocity scan of the radar, and you can kind of see it does match up there, but the velocity scan here does not look quite as impressive as it once did. So that, again, could be an indication that this is starting to wrap up just a bit. But you folks in Lanier still need to be in your place of safety. And go ahead, Josh.
I think that lowering in Marshall is coming into view on camera.
All right, thanks, Josh. There we go. Let's bring it back over to me, and I'll bring up the camera there, and we'll kind of keep an eye on that. Again, there is a tornado warning that is currently in place for Harrison County, and you can see Josh mentioned that lowering there as this camera in downtown. This is looking back towards the north and west, and mentioned a couple minutes ago that we would probably have a pretty good view of this, and you can kind of see, and we're just going to kind of watch this. If you live in the western sections of Marshall, we do have a pretty decent rotation that's indicated there in the Marshall, Texas area, waiting on some confirmation. I would think that if we had something on the ground, we may have heard about it, since it is moving through a more densely populated area. But you can clearly see As Josh mentioned, the lowering that is occurring there that could be associated with this rotating storm, possible tornado there. So it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on this moving forward. As we continue to watch this storm, and I'll step out of the picture so you can see the whole picture, and I'm going to take this off too, make it a clearer shot. What we're watching here, it does look like, you can see that could be a semblance of a wall cloud there if it comes into play. But nonetheless, as we watch this, for the rest of us, we do have a tornado watch that is in effect basically for northeast Texas, does include Marshall, all of northeast Texas, McCurtain County in southeast Oklahoma, as well as 3 counties in southwest Arkansas. That watch is in effect until 10 p.m. It also includes Miller County there in southwest Arkansas, Little River County, as well as Sevier County. So those are the areas of concern here for the next several hours. And again, we're going to see these cells continue to fairly rapidly move towards the north and east here during the next several hours. They will eventually move out of our region, and then we'll take a bit of a break. And you watching that, Josh? It looks like I see on the right side of the courthouse there, above the flag, actually. Yep. There is some signs of rotation there. So
and if you just kind of focus on the flag, you can see the rotation there is those little lowerings, those little fingers that are lowering off the clouds, kind of circulate back towards the flagpole. I don't see anything that's on the ground. That doesn't mean that there's not anything there, because the radar presentation on that storm is pretty impressive right now. I'm not seeing any debris, but just looking at the velocity scan, there's definitely something that's rotating. But when you hear Todd and I talk about a lowering or a wall cloud, that's exactly what we're talking about. And usually when you see those wall clouds like that, that will precede a tornado. So you get that initial lowering of the wall cloud, and typically the tornado will come out of that wall cloud. So we'd be looking just to the right of the flag. If there was anything on the ground there, you would see it, and you may see debris get kicked up. If anything was on the ground, if you just look at that little light area between that lowering and the tree line, if we were able to see any debris in there, that would be our indication that something is on the ground. But that's the reason for the tornado warning. Definitely have a rotating wall cloud there.
And we just got probably another 30 seconds to a minute before that, so you could kind of see the speed at which that storm is moving off towards the north and northeast. So again, as Josh mentioned, we do have nothing as yet. It looks like there is something getting lower right on the right side of the screen there, so that very well could be where we'll see, again, our touchdown. It does look like it's trying to touch down, and I think, Josh, we're just about there. Yeah. Wouldn't you think?
Very close, unless it's just rain, but yeah, that's very true. Close to the ground there.
It is. So that, again, that is moving out of the screen right now, but there's your live view of that potential tornado developing as it crosses basically the western edge of Marshall. It is probably north of U.S. Highway 80 right now, and continuing to move off towards the northeast at around 40 miles per hour. So let's go back into, as it's moving off screen now, let's go back to the radar and show you what we're looking at. Again, this is the storm right here, which is, again, the camera is right here looking back towards the north and east. And let's put the menu back on here and call up the latest velocity scan of the radar, and you can see that our possible tornado here, which we just saw what it looked like there in live view from the camera there in Marshall. You can see it is crossing what appears to be, see if I can get that road, this is Harrington, and there's Sioux Bell Lake Road. So it's going to be moving pretty much parallel to Sioux Bell Lake Road. There's looks like Hatley Road, and don't see any other roadways that are on the map there. Let's move further to the north, and you can see it should pass again fairly parallel to maybe a little bit west of that particular road right in here. That is, zoom this back out, that is Jewel. What is that, Jewel Gooch Road? Is that, if I'm reading that correctly? And then here's Woodlawn. You folks watching in Woodlawn, watch this closely. Let me zoom this out and play this for you, and you can see the The motion of this is our storm right here, so it will pass very close to Woodlawn. If you're in the Woodlawn, Texas area, would be a good idea to be in your place of safety. Let's pause this and see if we have anything as far as debris indicated. Again, we did see some debris more than likely with that cell that was in Marion County, and there is nothing evident on the radar as of right now, at least in my opinion there. This is the area of concern right in here. So again, it looks like that storm, if you're in Marshall, it looks like that tornado threat has passed at least most of Marshall. Still have to watch the far northwestern corner.
And there will be a new tornado warning for that storm, so that will probably include Woodlawn. That may even go up into Marion County with this next one. So this one would probably pass very close to Woodlawn and then maybe close to Jefferson as well, especially on the east side of Jefferson.
Exactly. So again, this is the motion, maybe a little bit close to Woodlawn, maybe a little bit to the east or west of Woodlawn, and then pass fairly close to Jefferson. Then eventually this could again move further to the north. This is the first time we've seen this here. Notice we have a little rotating cylinder here, and on the radar we have 3 different levels of severe weather indicators, if you will. The pink arrows indicate, when the storm's starting to perk up, got some hail, kind of draws our attention to these storms. Then we have our orange arrows, which signify areas where the storm is spinning, and when that spin gets strong enough, it produces this cylinder here. So let me go ahead and configure this so I can take a look at this rotation. Now, this is not warned as of right now, but let's see what it looks like. It could be something. Actually, this may be a false, maybe some bad data. So I'm not confirmed, but this is basically means we've got to watch this. So just keep an eye on that. Let's go back to our storm here, which is moving into Cass County. That storm that we did see that debris signature with, it looks like it has weakened somewhat, and yeah, it definitely has weakened. This is the storm here, so I would suspect, just based on this, that we will see not an extension of this. I don't know, Josh, if they've mentioned that, but I kind of doubt that this storm has weakened quite a bit. Yeah, and so
the one that's heading up towards Clarksville looks like it has taken a downturn as well. That was our confirmed tornado earlier, so it looks like it has dissipated. It is getting further away from radar, so if you're in Clarksville, please stay in your place of safety for the time being here, but it looks like that cell has definitely weakened over the last few scans. And
it has done that. We did see the touchdown there outside of Franklin County, and then it kind of weakened, and then we did see, again, a lot of eyes on that particular storm, another touchdown, so that may be going up and down in terms of the intensity of that rotation. Let me go ahead and put this into motion, since I haven't done that with this particular storm recently, and you can see it did pass fairly close to Bogota here recently, and probably will pass midway between Clarksville and Detroit. It does look like it's taking more of a northeasterly course, just based on the latest path that we've seen with that particular thunderstorm.
And for folks in McCurtain County, there is a tornado warning on the cell that is just to the west of you. That will probably be moving in, passing close to Valiant and Wright City. Will probably stay north of there. So if you're at the north end of McCurtain County, this particular storm will probably be moving in over the next hour or two. Some very large hail. Todd and I have been watching that storm since it was all the way back in Dallas. This is the same storm that is confirmed, I believe, golf ball at one point with that one. So there will be some extremely large hail with that, and that cell also does have the tornado warning. So McCurtain County, just a heads up, that is headed your way over the next 1 to 2 hours.
And probably a bit sooner than that, a half hour, we'll see that move into McCurtain County, and then we'll see it, as Josh mentioned, the next hour or so move across, especially the northern half of McCurtain County. And as Josh mentioned, this has you can see the black here. Last time we saw black like that was a couple of years ago in April, when we had that big hailstorm that dropped all the big hail in North Bossier City. So probably not going to be that big, but still some decent hail associated with that. And again, we do have, as Josh mentioned, a tornado warning with that particular cell, which will eventually, as you can see here, move into the far western sections of McCurtain County. Back to our cells here that are basically the one cell, which is probably the one storm that is has the most chance of producing a tornado if it hasn't already. Again, we, as of yet, had no confirmation of anything on the ground from this one, but the latest position on this possible tornado here is that it is, again, pretty much well north, several miles north of Marshall, about halfway between Marshall and Woodlawn. See if we can get some of these streets to pop on here. It has passed Hatley Road. This is Jewel Gooch Road, and it will move up. See if I got another road here that goes crossways. I don't have a cross street. Oh, there we go. That is Sioux Bell Lake Road. So it'll cross Sioux Bell Lake Road here fairly shortly. And again, this is a new tornado warning that does include basically the far northern sections of Harrison County, as well as much of Marion County. This new tornado warning is in effect until 6:15 p.m. here this evening. So that is the latest on that particular cell. And let me go ahead and play this. I'm going to zoom this out and show you this by way of future scan. And if anything, it'll kind of give you a sense on the speed and the timing. So I would use caution as far as the direction. It may be a little bit too far to the east, but we will see it pass probably close to maybe a little bit east of Jefferson, and then probably cross into the southeastern sections of Cass County. This is where this could be going here in the next hour. So this is basically an hour forecast from Future Scan. So it's north of Marshall near Woodlawn, and it will cross into the southwestern corner of Miller County there in southwest Arkansas. You can see there by 6:29 is when that could take place. Just kind of a visual representation on the timing of that possible tornado there, which is very close to Woodlawn and will soon move into parts of Marion County. Again,
if there will be a new tornado watch coming out shortly, we'll include Shreveport and the rest of our southwest Arkansas counties. So we'll wait and see if it includes anybody else besides Caddo, but it will include the rest of Arkansas. Caddo Parish we know will be in there for sure, but new tornado watch also coming.
And speaking of Shreveport, we did have that one cell that the Weather Service noticed some lowering on. That has since moved well to the north. You can see it's approaching plain dealing, and it's well below severe limits. As Josh mentioned several minutes ago, we have new cells which have developed here in DeSoto Parish. Pretty good batch of rain moving into the southern edge of Shreveport. Does not, as of right now, pose a severe weather threat, but again, given how rapidly we see these things have started to rotate here in the last hour or two, this is worth watching as it moves northward through Shreveport, and eventually will cross into the northern sections of Bossier City. So you folks here, Airline, Benton Road, those areas will need to watch this cell. Again, not severe right now, but it is going to be moving in that particular part of the metro area here fairly shortly. And just kind of zoom out and give you an overall view. Haven't seen anything new develop down here further to the south, so we'll see how this plays out as this goes off further to the north. And as I mentioned, there is, you can see all these boxes here. Those are severe thunderstorm warnings from the main line of thunderstorms, which is going to pose a wind, hail, and tornado threat late this evening. So we have round one, which is moving through the Arklatex right now. These storms, as I mentioned, will eventually exit the area, and then we'll have to wait for this line back to the west to move in later on this evening. Let's go back into and start from north to south and show you a closer view of the storm here, which is still outside of McCurtain County. You can see the tornado warnings that are in place because of that cell. And just kind of click on this, you can see that it does show, notice the size of the radar that the radar is showing. Now, we did see the radar indicate 4 inches, and we only got golf balls. So it said softballs, we got golf balls. So this is overestimating things a bit, but we're probably a pretty good shot that we have quarter size to golf balls, at least as far as the hail aspect of this. And notice that BTI number That is the Barron Tornado Index, with basically whenever you get an alert from the Arkansas Weather Authority app, that is included in those alerts, that number, and it goes between 1 and 10. And we've noticed that whenever it gets in that 4 to 5 range in our part of the country, we tend to see a good correlation to having good rotation and tornado warnings issued, and eventually maybe even a few tornado touchdowns. So you can see right now with this cell, that BTI number is sitting at 5.1, and you can see that it is moving forward here. Let's see if I can get a sense on where this cell is going to be moving during the next hour or so as we look at that with future scan. Again, this is basically an hour forecast, and it looks fairly reasonable, so it is moving in this general direction. So we'll see it probably stay to the west of Valiant and to the northwest of Wright City. And you folks up here in Batiste, we'll have to watch it between there and Smithville. Could be the part of McCurtain County that may be impacted. Again, of course, a lot of activity around Broken Bow Lake and the Hochatown area. It does appear as if this cell probably will pass a bit north of those areas here, the way it looks right now as it passes off towards the north and east. And I'll go back to the radar here and zoom this out, and you can kind of get a sense on where that is going. So it does look like it's going to take this course basically across the northern sections of McCurtain County. Again, that is warned both severe thunderstorm and tornado warning. We did have this confirmed tornado warning with this cell. It continues to fall apart here in Red River County. It's crossing U.S. Highway 82 midway between Detroit and Clarksville. A lot of storm chasers watching that, so we do still have a tornado warning for that one. That too will eventually move into the southwestern sections of
one of the chasers that's on that storm in Clarksville says looks like it's finally dying. The updraft seems to have choked off there, so the storm not getting any energy right now. So I think confirming what we're seeing on radar, that storm is falling apart. Yeah,
you can clearly see. You can see what it looked like down here in Franklin County and how it has kind of fallen apart here recently. And just keep in mind, anytime you see these cells here, any one of these little cells will have the capability, given the state of the atmosphere that we have above us, they will have the capability to produce some rotation. So that's something that obviously we'll be watching fairly closely here in the future. Something just kind of caught my eye is that this particular cell here, which is probably a little bit northeast of McLeod. You can kind of see the configuration of this one. So let's take a look at this. Not warned right now, but as I mentioned, these things can quickly spin up, and it does look kind of raggedy on the velocity scan. So that is one of those cells that we'll have to keep an eye on. Compare that to what we have down here in extreme northern Harrison County. It looks like our possible tornado is very close to crossing into Cass County, and you can see right now this is Baker Bridge Road. It'll probably move up towards Seabox Road there, and this is U.S. Highway 59, so that kind of gives you a general sense for those living in that particular area where it will go, and it probably will cross. Let me zoom this out, and you folks in Jefferson watch this, and you'll kind of get a sense on where this could be going. So it does look like, we mentioned, a little bit to the south and east. So the extreme southern part of Jefferson and the eastern part of Jefferson could be in the path of this. And another point to make is that notice that it doesn't look quite as impressive now as it once did. Might be starting to see a little bit of a weakening with this as well, but we still have some rotation there. So you folks in Jefferson, you should be in your place of safety. And when we say that, small room, middle of the house, bathroom, closet, hallway, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Take that pillow or cushion in case things do get really bad. But if you're in the middle of the house, especially with something like this, you should be pretty much okay as far as this storm moving through your area. And again, it's not too far from Jefferson right now, and just kind of pause this and kind of measure out exactly how far this is from Jefferson. Again, just a few minutes away, so we're looking at probably 5 minutes or so we'll see this pass very close to maybe a little bit south and east. Basically, the south and eastern half of Jefferson is where this could eventually go. It's going to pass very close to Jefferson. So if you live in Jefferson, you should be again in your place of safety. Don't see anything else that really pops out as far as any rotations across
the same chasers that are on the Clarksville storm, Todd. They're looking at the storm that's north of between Avery and DeKalb that's going to be crossing the Red River there. It doesn't look impressive on radar, and it may be one of those situations where the storms today, they're just small. They're just very squat storms, so the radar may be shooting over the top of it a bit, but they're saying that one is pretty well organized, and they are seeing one of those rotating wall clouds on that one as well. So we will keep an eye on that one. That will also be headed up into McCurtain County, especially near Pleasant Hill and Tom over the next 10 to 15 minutes.
And then eventually up close to the Queen, maybe a little bit west of there, close between Eagletown and Queen, right here on the Sevier McCurtain County line is where that could be headed. So again, doesn't look, as Josh mentioned, very impressive on the radar, but one worth watching. Whenever you have eyes on them, obviously you got to pay attention to no matter what the radar looks like. And this cell here in Cass County looks very impressive in terms of its presentation here on the normal radar. Let's take a look at the velocity scan of this, and you can see that still doesn't look nothing really impressive there as far as the velocity. We do have some ins and outs here. This would be the area right here that we would be concerned about. That's north of McLeod. Just keep an eye on this for you folks in the Bloomberg area. This could pass fairly close to you, maybe between Queen City and Bloomberg. That is an area of concern. You can see, given the presentation that we have on the pinpoint Doppler with that one right now. That is a classic Hook Echo looking storm right now. Jefferson, Texas, you can see that storm that I mentioned just a few miles south of Jefferson. I'll give you the latest on the location of that potential tornado there, as it is again approaching Jefferson from the south. It too does not look very impressive right now, but for the most part, it looks like it is crossing into southern Marion County, just a few miles south of Jefferson. So in the next several minutes, we'll see what's left here eventually move through much of Jefferson, the way it is looking here. And as I pointed out a few minutes ago, it does not look quite as impressive in terms of its radar velocity presentation as it once did when it's back to the south and west of the Marshall, Texas area. So that is the latest on the storms that we have. Let's kind of give you a summary as we wait new information to come in on these particular thunderstorms. It looks like the main focus of round one here is beginning to shift into the northern half of the Arklatex. Josh mentioned a new tornado watch that was going to be coming out. Let's see if it has been issued as of yet. And here it is. You can see this new tornado watch is in effect until 12 a.m. It does include basically the counties and parishes near and north of Interstate 20, Caddo, Bossier, Webster, Claiborne, and Bienville parishes in our viewing area. So those have been added, and also the counties in southwest Arkansas that weren't included in the initial tornado watch are now included. That's for the storms that we have right now across the area. So still, we're going to have to keep an eye on anything tries to redevelop further to the south, but I pointed this out about 10-15 minutes ago, and we still have nothing really new developing. So once these storms move off towards the north and out of the region, we could be pretty much done with round one. Let's show you a longer view here of what could be on the way here during the nighttime hours tonight. And for that, give you the latest model information. This is the high-resolution rapid refresh model. And basically, this updates a new model run every hour. So this is the very latest in model information. You can see it does show the main focus of the storms lifting northward here in the next couple of hours into southwest Arkansas, southeast Oklahoma. I'm going to see if I could zoom this out, and you can see what's going to be. So this activity gradually moves out, and then we have our line, which is back here by 7 o'clock. Could be moving into the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Take it forward to 9 o'clock. You can see it does begin to move into the basically far northwestern sections of the Arklatex and McCurtain County. Here it is approaching Tyler by that time frame. Now, previous runs, Josh and I observed earlier that both Futurecast as well as this model showed a weakening trend as this activity moved into the heart of the Arctic late this evening. So we can see if that trend is still evident. And you can kind of see that weakening trend. So it's quite possible that the storms will be at their strongest over the western sections of the area. Now, keep in mind, this is just a model guess, if you will, but we have two models that show something very, very similar. So that is the trend. And you can see that we would probably see it arrive in Texarkana very late this evening, 10, 11 o'clock, in Shreveport probably arrive sometime close to midnight. And we'll take you through the rest of the night. That activity moves out. Then we have the main upper level low, which is going to be passing to our north. And on the bottom side of that, we're going to see some more showers and thunderstorms that'll graze the northern half of the Arctic here very late tonight into tomorrow morning. That could pose a little bit of a severe weather threat as well. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, we do have that tornado warning now for, that would be for McCurtain County. That was the cell that we had mentioned earlier. The warning here, we're watching some rotation, not confirmed. Again, this is just a radar indicated tornado. If you can see that cell right there, you can see all of the black that is being indicated on radar. We've been watching this storm for several hours, and if you actually plot out some of the storm reports that have come with it, the warning actually calls, and you can see I've plotted out some of the hail. Todd may be able to show you this a little better on the wall over there, but you can see the hail started north of Dallas, and that cell has maintained really some quarter to golf ball sized hail for the last few hours. So we know there will probably be some large hail, and that hail core, in addition to that area of rotation, would be passing to the north of Valiant. It's going to be just to the north of Wright City, so this looks to be headed again over towards Hochatown, Broken Bow Lake. Those areas will be, again, that warning does go until 6:30, so it's going to take another hour or so for this storm to move through McCurtain County. But the warning does call for 2-inch hail. That would be hail that is up to egg size, but we have definitely had confirmed hailstones that have been quarter to golf ball size with that cell from the Fort Worth Weather Service as that was moving across North Texas. Todd?
Thanks, Josh. You mentioned the storm reports, so let me call those up here and show you what and kind of click on some of those reports as they come in. So, and I'll kind of zero in. That way you can kind of see what we're looking at here. So here's the latest report. Doesn't show the hail size with that particular one, but just kind of give you a sense of what we're looking at. You can see $half sized hail. We have, let's see, golf ball sized hail. So again, rather large hail associated with that particular thunderstorm there, which is now making its way into the far western sections of McCurtain County. And kind of show you, since we do have the new tornado warning for this one, again, zero in on the velocity scan of this, and you can see somewhat difficult to see this far away as we're kind of in what Josh and I like to call radar no man's land, as we're so high up. But this is what we're looking at here, and just to show you where this could be going in the next hour here with Future Scan. And it does look like it is moving towards the north and east, and so we'll put this in the motion, and you can see that it will pass north of Wright City. Here's Hochatown, Broken Bow. It looks like it passes a little bit to the north of Hochatown with everything going on there. There's Broken Bow Lake. It continues to move up towards Smithville. So this is the part of McCurtain County where this storm could go. Now, again, we could see some variations on exactly. Sometimes these things do tend to turn a little bit to the right, so it may be a little bit closer to Hochatown, but this is what Future Scan is showing here. The path of this particular storm in McCurtain County could be taking during the course of the next hour. So let's go back and zero in on the storms now that are moving across the area, as we do have, again, the tornado warnings, at least one. Let's stop the radar here, and we do have the one, which is has passed through the Jefferson, Texas area, and mentioned last time that the velocity scan of this has pretty much weakened. It's very difficult. So I think we're probably seeing this particular cell lose its its strength somewhat in terms of rotation. It does look like it has passed a little bit to the north of Jefferson. I pointed out the storm that was further to the north and east. This cell here is not warned for, and it's passing very close to the Bloomberg area, now moving into Bloomberg. That eventually will move up towards and a little bit to the east of Texarkana. So this cell is one worth watching as well, just based on the way it has looked here with pinpoint Doppler. Josh mentioned the storm in that storm spotters were tracking very closely, moving along 259 right now and crossing the Red River, which is right here. This will probably move up close to Pleasant Hill and Tom, and probably closer to Pleasant Hill. So it's going to move basically towards the north and northeast. Let me zoom this out. So this is the cell here that we're concerned about, moving almost due north, maybe a little bit east and north, and it will continue to move across the western sections of McCurtain County. Again, this not warned, but there are storm spotters that Josh mentioned a few minutes ago that are watching this and did see some organization with that one. So that would be a cell that is worth watching here moving forward. So again, we have our one tornado warning here for Marion County. That storm looks like it is weakening somewhat as it is moving into the northern sections of Marion County. It is in effect until 6:15 p.m. this evening. We do have a second tornado warning for this very strong storm right now, which is moving into the far western sections of McCurtain County. In fact, let me give you a look at the hail aspect of this, and you can see the size that the radar is indicating here. And this data here does often lag a little bit the location of the storm. And I'm going to try to click on the brighter colors, and you can see that it is showing egg-sized hail in this area. And I'm going to zoom this out and take those off and zoom it out, and you'll kind of get a sense on the path at which that is going to be going. So you can kind of see that showing up as we move forward. In fact, I can show you another aspect of this on the national view, and that would be the hail path product here. And this will show us the path that this cell has taken moving forward. You can see this. We were watching this, and we showed you the hail reports, you know, golf ball sized hail, you know, $half sized hail, as it was moving, approaching the Red River, and you can see the path that this has taken. And it does look like, if this particular path continues, that it will move fairly close to, maybe a little bit to the north of Hochatown and cross 259, again a little bit to the north of Hochatown. So you folks here in this area around Broken Bow Lake got two issues. You got that hail core, which is going to be moving your way, and also we do have the potential for a tornado. Again, notice the red boxes, so nothing has been confirmed from that as of yet, but you should be in your place of safety there in McCurtain County from this particular thunderstorm here, which is going to continue to move up towards the north and east and take this path, maybe crossing the northern edge of Broken Bow Lake if it does continue in that particular direction. And those are really the only two. Go ahead, John.
Todd, we've got, this is interesting here. So we do have a tornado warning that's coming for Caddo and Bossier. And I was just looking at the storm, and I just got a text message from one of our former employees. She lives down by LSUS. She said her windows on her home are actually blown out there. So we're so close to the radar site that we may not be picking up any rotation with that. But this is going to be a confirmed tornado with this cell. That was by LSUS that we would have had that potential tornado damage, and this is the storm. It's probably going to be moving up close to the Red River. This may actually wind up on the Bossier City side of things, so we're going to take a close look at that one.
Thanks, Josh, and I do have the radar configured on that, so let's zero in. I'm going to pause this and see if we can pick up anything. So this is again, we have the report out of LSUS, so that would put it basically, let's...
it was very close to there. I would say it's maybe just a block or two, probably to the west of where the LSUS campus is, just giving you a ballpark idea of where that storm, what part of the storm that may be.
Okay, so that would be back here to the, trying to get my bearings on exactly where we're looking at here. So again, the storm right now, see if we can see what it looks like as far as the rotation. Again, this is a confirmed tornado, and it probably is right now fairly close to the downtown area. So let me take a look. We do have obviously the numerous cameras from the Louisiana Department of Transportation, so we'll kind of get a sense from one of these cameras as this moves in. So let's see if we can take a look at all of them. Here's a look at all of them right now. This is the one in downtown, so see if I can zoom this in. So here's the one, it's I-20 in San Fertitta. You can see this would be looking back close to where that potential tornado would be going. Let's kind of zoom over towards Airline. You can see that, again, some heavy rain in that area. Further to the west, you can kind of see the radar, which is associated with these particular locations here. Let me turn this off so we can see things more clearly. And again, this is I-20 in San Fertitta. This would probably be the camera worth watching as this moves very close to downtown. Josh mentioned LSUS. That probably would put it maybe on the Bossier side, so this probably would be a good camera to keep an eye on as far as anything. So we'll kind of keep a close view on that one. So again, a tornado warning. Do you have an expiration time on that, Josh? Could you open up Josh's mic? Your mic is off.
Yeah, I had it muted.
Okay.
I was trying to work on just getting some more information on that. That storm is moving north at 30 miles per hour. Looks like that one expires at 6:30.
Thanks, Josh.
Yes.
All right, let's go back to the view of the camera there. This is the DOTD camera, I-20 in San Fertitta, and you can see again this probably is our storm that we're looking at right now. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the radar, and we'll see if we can see something a little bit more definite as far as the location of this. And it's, again, this close to the radar, somewhat difficult to find. So let's go back to the radar here and show you the latest. And this probably is going to be the activity that we would be concerned about, as this is crossing again these two cells here. So zoom this out. Actually, it could be this cell, to be honest with you. This would more coincide with LSUS. So let's take a look at both of them as far as the velocity scan of this. This could be our location. So both of these cells worth watching, as they are going to be, again, moving especially into Bossier City. So both locations right now. The first right now, let's probably see it better here with the radar. We have this cell, which is moving into Bossier City here. This would be the Green Acres neighborhood. This is going to move pretty much right up Airline Drive. Let me put this in the motion. And so we have our cell right here that is going to move up Airline Drive. This probably is the one that impacted LSUS.
I agree. Yeah, I've been looking at it. I think that's the one.
So this is the concern right now, and that is, again, making its way up into Green Acres there in Bossier City. And just to kind of keep that into motion, it is going to move up to Green Acres Place, eventually Lakewood. You got all these other communities up here in North Bossier, Legacy. You got Cross Creek, Bayou Bend. All those locations could be in the path of this, again, at one point confirmed tornado. Let's go back to the cameras again from the Louisiana Department of Transportation, see if we can see anything on the various views from those cameras. And take off this, and again, we do have, this is probably that second cell that we're seeing right here. Airline is, let's see, North Market. That's looking in the wrong direction, so I really don't see a camera that's going to give us, that I have available here, a good view of that particular cell. This one still, this is close to downtown at San Fertitta, looking back towards into Bossier City. So this very well could be that cell, but more than likely that is north of that particular location. Not exactly.
Yeah, it looks like the Weather Service saying they have some video. They confirmed that that cell did probably produce a tornado near Burt Coons in Shreveport, and then probably moved up and did some of that damage that we're hearing of near LSUS.
All right, so that is, again, this is the best view of what's going on here as far as the Shreveport-Bossier metro area. So let's give you another look at the location of this. Again, the purple flashing box means that we have a confirmed tornado warning. More than likely, the cell that is causing that is this particular cell here, and it is making its way into Green Acres Place right now. It'll continue to move along Airline Drive and then up towards Lakewood and eventually up towards Legacy. Here's Deer Point Road, and eventually we could see it also move up towards Cypress Lake if it continues that particular path there into the heart of Bossier Parish. Again, here's Benton, Cypress Lake, right about in here, so that is also a location that could be in the path.
And we may have to bounce back and forth here. We have a tornado warning that also includes Texarkana now, so that tornado warning goes until 6:30 as well. That would be the cell that's moving out of Bloomberg. It's going to be headed to the Miller County side of things. It does include a sliver of Bowie County as well, but that's going to be headed up towards Genoa. We're seeing pretty strong rotation with that one. Nothing confirmed. That's radar signature indicating that we could definitely have a tornado. And as we've seen today, it's probably, I believe, 3 tornadoes that I think we have confirmed at this point. So I take that warning very seriously. This will be moving up through Miller County through 6:30. That warning goes.
Thanks, Josh. And it looks like, just from your screen there, that it'll probably pass a little bit to the east of Texarkana.
Yep.
As we let me again probably have some more before I move up to that one. Let's give you another view of the storm here in North Bossier City. This is the location. Now it is looks like it's crossing the Brownlee neighborhood. Again, here's Airline Drive. Here's Benton Road. It's going to move into these neighborhoods here between Benton Road and Airline as it moves pretty much towards the north and northeast. So those are the locations that this confirmed tornado could be going. Let's go up to that storm right now and give you a closer look at that one that is moving into the Texarkana area, and pause the radar here so we can kind of stall things here. Very impressive presentation here with the radar. Switch over to the velocity scan and you can see the motion here. Right now it looks like this is the cell that I mentioned earlier that was in the south eastern sections of Cass County near McLeod. It has prompted a tornado warning. As right now, this is Arkansas Highway 237. See if I can get some of the streets to pop on the map here. It doesn't look like we have anything that is identifiable, but you can see putting this in the motion moving forward here that we will see again this possible tornado right here moving up towards the north, probably passing. I'm going to draw this out here. Moving towards the north, we've seen 40 miles per hour. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this icon here. This will kind of give us a sense on when it could be moving at various locations. So Genoa 622, and it will pass east of Texarkana, probably Highway 82 at about 625. So kind of gives you a sense of when it crosses U.S. Highway 82, and it probably will stay at least a few miles south and a few miles east of Texarkana, maybe moving into the western edge of Texarkana. But you folks between Texarkana and Genoa, this part of Miller County, and of course anywhere in between here, should be in your place of safety, as we do have our newest tornado warning that is in effect until 6:30 there for Miller County, Arkansas. So we'll continue to watch that particular tornado warning. We have an update here on the cell, which is moving into McCurtain County. It looks like our possible tornado here is a few miles to the north and east of northwest of Wright City, about 6 miles to the northwest of Wright City. It is going to continue to move northeast, and as far as that motion, it probably will pass across the northern tip of Broken Bow Lake. So that is, and this also producing quite a bit of hail. You can see the black indicated here with the radar. That's basically the hail within this. Again, the radar beam sends out energy, hits the raindrops, which gets reflected back. That's how we see where rain is. Hail obviously is bigger and harder, so it sends back a stronger signal. So that's what we're looking at, is that hail core associated there with that thunderstorm, which is going to, as we mentioned, move up to close to Hochatown, and the northern half of Broken Bow Lake is where that potential tornado is going. This one not confirmed as of yet, but it is at the very least producing some very large hail that could get up to egg size before it's all said and done. Let's zero back in and pause the radar here and kind of give an update on the location of our tornado-producing storm here in Bossier City. And you can see right now, this is the area that we're looking at. See if I can see anything identifiable here on the velocity scan of the radar. It is somewhat difficult to see there, so we'll just use the reflectivity aspect of this, and you can see that right about here is where we're probably looking at as far as the latest with this. So anywhere in this area here between Benton Road and Airline Drive, here's Swan Lake, that is Swan Lake Road right here. So there's Lakewood, and then we have Legacy up here. So that is the location, at least a part of the region which that could be impacted by this tornado-producing storm. Again, we have confirmation of some damage over the southern sections of Shreveport from this particular cell. We also have a pretty good thunderstorm here which is approaching Stonebridge right now. This likely not producing anything as far as tornado activity, but this, again, given the fact that we do have a tornado warning already for this cell, obviously the environment is suitable to allow these things to form. So I would still be in my place of safety here in Stonebridge and Community Carriage Oaks, all these areas, Tiburon, here in North Bossier City. You can kind of see that indication here on the radar with this one. So this also going to be a storm to watch moving forward. Take a quick peek at that, since it is a little bit further from the radar. Right in here is what we're looking at. So again, nothing that screams big tornado there, but again, we have our two cells which are moving into the north and northeastern sections of Bossier City. So if you're close to 220, say Green Acres Place, it looks like that storm has passed you. You're pretty much okay. If you live between Bossier City and Benton, you should be in your place of safety right now. It looks like this is moving still between Airline and Benton Road. It is crossing, and this, again, it can't really give you a detailed location in terms of streets, but this is going to soon be crossing Kingston Road here and then heading up towards basically pretty close to Cypress Lake. Here's Linton Road, which is eventually ends up pretty close to Cypress Lake. So you folks in that particular part of Bossier Parish between Benton and Bossier City should be, again, in your place of safety. Let's go back to our storm in Texarkana right now, and you can see we do have a very impressive presentation here with this one right now, which is south of Texarkana. We do have the velocity, and notice that we have our cylinder here, which is an indication whenever these rotations get strong enough, that tells us that we have a strong rotation. So, and we've noticed that any time that we see that that these cylinders, they tend to coincide. And notice here when I click on that, it only shows the VTI of 1.8. That's somewhat misleading. But let me zero in here and just show you the location. I'm going to have to zoom in. Obviously, the cylinder is going to mess me up a little bit. So let me kind of configure the map here so that I can maybe see a few streets. So here's Jonesville. Here is basically Highway 71 and 49, and of course here is Falk. If you're watching in Falk, this is going to pass to your west, and it is going to continue to move up, basically up 237 is what it looks like. This is where this is going to move. I'm going to try to zoom this out and kind of move the radar so we can kind of get a sense on the path of this could be going. So let's put this rotation into motion. And you can see the storm as it's been making its way towards the northeast here. And so that would make it basically move between Texarkana and Genoa. So this is that is the area. If you live in Texarkana, if you live in Genoa and points to the south there, you should be in your place of safety. And as I mentioned, it does look like it is going to move in those areas. Let's see if I can reconfigure the radar here back to normal, and then I'll pause this and kind of give you a sense on the timing. So let's see if I can get latest on this. Again, tracking this towards the northeast at around 40 miles per hour. It does look like it's about 10 miles here from crossing. I don't remember the number of the road there, even though I've been on it several times. Genoa Road, I believe it is. It crosses there in about, say, 15 minutes. So we're about 6:15, 6:20. Then it crosses US Highway 52 maybe a few minutes after that. So again, this is the general direction that this could be going between Texarkana and Genoa. But keep in mind we can see variations on the directions at which these things can travel. They can reform in different spots. So anywhere in this area should be in that place of safety. Again, this tornado warning, if you're just tuning in, is in effect until 6:30 here for much of Miller County. The Cass County part of this, you might be seeing a tornado warning for Cass County. It has moved out of Cass County, and you are pretty much done. Looks like we do have some new data which has come in, and so we do have our possible tornado here, which is very close to Arkansas Highway 237 and moving up towards the east side of Texarkana. Back to the storms in Shreveport and Bossier City, and you can see the pair of storms here which continue to make their way towards the north and northeast. Zoom these in so where we get some communities to pop on here and reconfigure the map. So this is the cell that we saw across Kingston Road. You can see it is now crossing Palmetto Road, and I can zoom this in. I imagine we have some streets now. Here's Palmetto Road. Here is Thorn Lane. You can see some of the smaller roadways that are in the location of this storm. We also have this other cell, which is this is Swan Lake Road as it swings around and goes from Airline. You see that curve down towards I-220 there. It looks like it's on the east side of that, headed up towards Dean Point Road. And this is eventually going to move up towards the Crouch Road area and the basically western sections of Cypress Lake. Now, Josh and I have determined this is the one that prompted the tornado warning. This cell too is obviously in a favorable environment. So anywhere with these two cells, it would be a good idea to be in that place of safety, as we do have that tornado warning, which is in effect here until 6:30 for right now mainly Bossier Parish. It does include a small part of Webster Parish, but putting this into motion, if you're watching in Webster Parish, you can see that it does appear as if these are moving more towards the northeast and the northeast. So these cells may stay in Bossier Parish as they make their way towards the north and northeast. So you folks in Spring Hill will have to watch them closely, and perhaps the Sarepta, Louisiana area. So further to the south, still no development down here. So it appears as far as Shreveport, now that these cells have cleared for the most part, we should see a bit of a break as far as Shreveport and Bossier City. We'll have to watch for any new development that may take place, but we may see a bit of a break. In Texarkana, you have the cell that's now south of town that has prompted the tornado warning. That is, again, what could be the last of the activity. As you can kind of see everything quieting down here back further to the south and west. And then we have things picking up here in McCurtain County with this cell, which is continuing to make progress across McCurtain County. You can see notice that we have seen the black, consistent black here, and how it's kind of disappeared as far as that black. That may be a good sign that this storm is finally beginning to dissipate somewhat, but it is going to move across the northern half of Broken Bow Lake as this hail core goes, and we could see the actual rotation with this. Again, we do have a tornado warning for that particular cell, as it is currently located right about in here is where we could be looking at our possible tornado, which is north of Wright City, and again, it will pass across the northern half, close to maybe a little bit north of Hochatown. Again, that being this part of McCurtain County. Again, a lot of development going on there with the lake, and you can see that probably will pass close to maybe a little bit north. The northern part of that development there in McCurtain County is what we're looking at. Let's go back down to Texarkana, and then we'll revisit the storms in Bossier Parish. And you can see our possible tornado here, which is again continuing to move off towards the north. Let's pause this a little bit and take a look at the traditional scan of the radar, and you can see that this would be the area of concern here, pretty close to Arkansas 237, and it continues to get closer and closer to the Texarkana area. Zoom this out and show you the next hour or so where this could be going. And again, put this into motion. This is basically a forecast provided by the radar. And obviously, I think I have some bad data. So that's obviously I have some bad data, so we will not show you that until we get some new data in. So let's go back to the radar, and you can see the motion that this potential tornado is going to be taking here as it will likely pass. Zoom back into Texarkana, and you can see here's the loop that goes around. This is actually Interstate 49 now. So we'll see this move pretty much parallel to 49. Actually, could graze the eastern sections of Texarkana. So if you live on especially the Arkansas side of Texarkana, definitely need to be in your place of safety, as it looks like it will pass probably closer to Texarkana than it will Genoa, is what we're kind of looking at right now. And this is 237. It's been pretty much moving right along 237. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just got a report in from one of the managers up there, one of the ham radio operators, I guess, who's listening to what's going on with the fire department, saying power lines are down there, trees on fire, and the fire department being dispatched. That would be at 237 and MC 75. So if it's not a tornado, we have some pretty serious wind, but I would imagine may have had a tornado down there if we're talking about power lines that have been knocked down there. Todd?
Thanks, Josh. And it looks like, I mentioned 237, it's moving pretty close to Arkansas 237. Josh mentioned the power outages. That often could be a signal as to what, when we could see, again, when we have strong winds, they down trees, they down power lines. So let's take a look at the power outage numbers. And you can see that we do have quite a few outages here in Caddo Parish. That's probably due to the confirmed touchdown that occurred across the southern sections of Caddo Parish. Let me pause this. And again, where we have power outages, when we have thunderstorms, chances are it's the thunderstorms that cause those outages. And you can see 4,500 outages reported in Caddo Parish. Now, it does take, there is a bit of a lag between when those outages get reported and when those outage numbers are uploaded to the service that provides this to us. So we'll keep an eye on what's happening in Bossier Parish as well. Notice nothing yet in Miller County, but also notice where we have had these thunderstorms move through parts of Cass and Marion counties that we do have some outages in those particular area. The numbers aren't that big because we're talking about a very small scale thing, which relatively impacts a small area. So you might expect on nights like that, at least when we're talking about individual cells, that the power outages would be somewhat limited. All right, let's go back to the radar here and show you what we're looking at as far as the latest on the thunderstorms. We'll go back to Bossier Parish. Again, if you're watching in various locations, we have 3 different cells that are spinning right now that we're watching. So if we haven't been covering yours, give us time, we'll get there. So you can see the storms here. These are continuing. It don't look quite as pronounced now. Now that they're farther away from the radar, we should have a pretty good indication, and nothing really that really jumps out there to me as far as anything officially on the ground. But again, these do have a history of producing a touchdown. So again, just kind of give you a breakdown. Again, it is north of Benton. See if we can get some of the other Merritt Road, I should say. Here's Crouch Road. So now we're talking about this cell, which is north of Cypress Lake. All right, and here's Crouch Grove, which goes all the way up to basically to the north. So again, those are some of the roadways that are being impacted. And again, of the 2, this one here looks to be the most prominent. So here's Crouch Road, which goes down, and this, I believe, is Parks Road right here. So these are could be an area of concern here on the southern tip of this. So that's one area that we would have to watch. And notice that we do have we have the purple box blinking, but the Weather Service has basically continued the tornado warning, but we have a red box, meaning that nothing confirmed as of right now when they issued that latest update to this particular cell. So those are the areas of concern in Bossier Parish. Let's go back to our cell here, which is south of Texarkana. Josh mentioning we did have confirmation of some power outage there along 237. Now looking at this, getting closer to Highway 82 in the Texarkana area. As we switch back to the radar, you can see, again, this is the location of our possible tornado right here, which is now crossing pretty close to U.S. Highway 71. And this is State Highway 196. That's the Genoa Road exit, I believe, that you take from I-49. So that kind of gives you, if you travel that area, maybe passing through Texarkana on I-49, you kind of get a sense on where that is. So that is where this is going to be going, probably past between I-49 and Genoa. So I'll zoom this out and put this into motion so you can kind of decide for yourself where this could be going. So it does look like it's taking that path here, which would be between 49 and Genoa. So that's the latest location of this tornado, which is now making its way into the southwestern sections of Texarkana, and will be passing Arkansas Highway 196 here. It'll then continue again to track to the north. And just kind of put this in perspective here, kind of give you folks further downstream a little bit more of an idea. It will then continue to track up towards the north. If I were in Millwood, anywhere in these areas, Sarasota, McNabb, Tillette, this part of Howard County and Hempstead County, keep an eye on this cell. It's a ways away, but probably more than a half hour away, but still it is worth watching as it progresses towards the north and east. Again, we do have some confirmation of some power line issues, which probably is confirmation that we have a tornado that has occurred here. That's what that's how I would act, is that we have an actual confirmation, although it's not officially confirmation as of yet. No one has actually seen this tornado. So again, an update on that. It does look like it is getting close to crossing Arkansas Highway 196 and heading up towards U.S. Highway 82 there in the Texarkana area. So this is the area of concern right now between Texarkana and Genoa. If you live on the Texas side of Texarkana, you're pretty much okay. You're not included in this tornado warning. If you live, obviously, in Genoa, east, basically the Arkansas side of Texarkana, and again, points up here in northern Miller County, again, you are in line to be possibly impacted by this particular potential tornado. Let's go to storm number 3. Another quick update for everyone watching here in McCurtain County. Pause the radar, and you can see our strong storm, which at the very least is producing some decent hail. It is golf ball size. That's, again, probably, we've noticed today that number has been a little bit high. So at the very least, we probably have quarter-sized hail right now, getting ready to move and cross Highway 259. And that would be, again, close to the Hochatown area north of Broken Bow. So as far as the rotation, as far as we have anything, if we can identify, it looks like our possible tornado here is, see if we can get some of the roadways to pop on here in that particular area. So there we go. Looks like 51590 Baldwin Trail, and you can see some of the other highways, some of the road numbers that are popping on here. A lot of smaller roads. Again, in this part of McCurtain County, there are a lot of, I believe this is the part of McCurtain County where we probably have quite a bit in terms of those cabins, if you're familiar with that area. And that does look like this is going to be moving into that part of the region. See if we can get a cross street here to pop on and kind of get a sense. 54460. No names, just numbers. So that is perhaps the location where this, again, moving to the northeast, will eventually cross. You can see here's Broken Bow Lake. I'm trying to zoom this out. And here's Hochatown in this part of 259. So it's going to be the northern part of that will be impacted by this possible tornado there in McCurtain County. So that is what we're looking at. You can see we do have one of those cylinders that coincides with that particular storm. And notice that BTI number that I mentioned earlier too has come down a bit, but still up there at 4.7. So again, this tornado warning is also in effect until 6:30 there for McCurtain County. All right, let's go back and show you to the traditional radar, and we'll kind of get a sense on a broader view here, and let's show you the overall look at what's happening here across the Arklatex. Again, East Texas, for now, you're done. For now. We got more coming. South of Shreveport and Bossier City, a bit of a break. We do have the storms, which are now, again, in North Bossier City. Let me zoom in on these and kind of get a sense on where these are located. You can see that Cycle Plant Road is where this one, again, what's left of this cell is currently located. It's moving up towards Rocky Mount. We have Alden Bridge, and this would be, this is Highway 3. So this is where that is going there. And these cells, again, being this far out from the radar, we would probably be able to identify something as, I would say at this point, unlikely that we have anything tornadic. But given the history of these cells, I would still act as if there were something there. But as of right now, I really don't see anything that would scream there is a tornado here with those cells there in Bossier Parish. But if you live in Benton and points between Benton and Bossier City, obviously you're done. Plain dealing, you'll need to watch this. And again, this warning is in effect for another 9 minutes. Given what I'm seeing, I would be surprised if we had another warning just based on what we have on the radar here. Let's go back to the Texarkana storm, and you can see that it is currently crossing Arkansas 196. I'll show you the velocity scan of this one, and you can see right here is what we're looking at as far as the location of that. That is Genoa Road. Looks like Lakewood Estates, one of the neighborhoods in that part on the east side of Texarkana is where this could be currently moving through in that part of Miller County. So again, here's I-49. You can see the brunt of the storm a little bit to the east of Highway 49 and also to the east of 237. So it is just about ready to it is currently crossing 196 and will soon cross Highway 82, and it looks like that is going to happen. Let's do it in relation to I-49. Looks like it's going to happen a couple of miles to the east of the Highway 82 I-49 exit there on the Arkansas side of Texarkana. All right, so that's the latest on the storms that we have right now across the Arklatex. And again, we probably will see these continue to move to the north. Notice we don't have anything new as far as development, but we're not done, as we have the main line of thunderstorms off to the west of us, and you can see pretty much the entire line has a severe thunderstorm warning that is currently in place. You can see some of these flashing more basically lighter yellow boxes. I'll click on those. Notice a different severe thunderstorm warning type. Whenever we see these flashing yellow boxes, something to remember for later on this evening, if we do have one of these, that means we likely have sustained winds of 80 miles per hour. In other words, we get that destructive tag, and that is currently moving into the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So that is moving into Dallas. Let me show you when this could be moving into our area, the very latest from the high-resolution rapid refresh model. And you can see the thunderstorms in Dallas will continue to move off towards the east, maybe arriving in the northwest edge of the area by about 9 o'clock. You can see that they move deeper into East Texas by 11, then continue that progress to the east by 1 o'clock. Midnight, 1 o'clock, we would see it move into Shreveport. Now, a while back, last time I showed that, I mentioned the weakening trend that the HRRR model was showing, as well as Futurecast, and you can kind of see that still evident. Again, we get a different update on this model. It runs every hour. So this is the very latest on that. So it's possible that we could see these storms weaken somewhat, given the fact that it'll be arriving in, far eastern Texas, northwest Louisiana around midnight, and given the fact that we do have the storms which have currently moved through, that may kind of add together to help us somewhat. But nonetheless, we still have to act as if we do have some big stuff coming, but hopefully we can see a weakening trend with those thunderstorms as indicated with this particular model. And you can see late tonight we could have another cluster of showers and thunderstorms graze the northern sections of the area. So again, we do have our cells now. They will will soon be moving out of our area in the next hour or so, and then later on this evening we'll see that main line begin to approach from the west. So we do still have 3 tornado warnings that are currently in play here across the Arklatex. So I'll start with the northernmost warning and show you that one and see if we can see what that looks like here with the radar and the current location of that potential tornado is right about in here. So it is crossing U.S. Highway 59, again north of Hochatown. Again, this part of McCurtain County, and it is continuing to move off towards the north and east. I'll switch this over to the radar, and I'm going to show you all 3 with future scan. Now, keep in mind, we're kind of zeroing in on this part. All of this will pose a risk of producing some wind issues, and as you can see where it is currently, I'll put this into motion and show you the past hour where it's been. You can see that we no longer have the black indicate on the radar, so the return's not quite as high. Still very strong. We still likely have some rather strong winds. Let's switch this over to future scan. We probably have an update on that particular product, which will show us where this is going to be going. So you can kind of see it will probably move into Polk County and stay north of Gillum and stay north of DeQueen as far as this cluster of thunderstorms. So that's where that particular storm could be going. Let me go down to the storm that is now in Texarkana. And again, this is the cell right here, which is crossing or will soon cross U.S. Highway 82. And you can see the path that it's going to be taking: Saratoga, McNabb, Fulton, eventually maybe Ozan, and probably a little bit to the west of Washington is where, again, what future scan does, it takes the past couple of scans of the radar and gives us a 1-hour representation on where these storms could be going. It kind of shows us the direction of the storms so you can kind of see the radar of the future. Let's go back down to the storms here in northern Bossier Parish. You can see that those right here would move into southern Lafayette County and then move up towards basically up towards Louisville, Stamps, and Buckner there in northern Lafayette County by about an hour from now, about 7:30. So that's where these storms are going. Let me give you another look at where they are right now. Again, the latest, we have seen these cells pretty much move out of the tornado warning boxes. So it's, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dan Jovic, the news team, have been behind the scenes working to get us some pictures and video of some of the damage. I know we don't have anything confirmed on the ground, and we're just waiting for some new warnings here. So we do have Dan standing by to just kind of give us a recap and show us some of the pictures and videos of some of the potential tornadoes and tornado damage that we've seen across the Arklatex. Dan?
All right, Josh, thank you very much. Yes, we are receiving pictures and video from many of the NBC6 viewers who have been experiencing the tornadoes blowing through their county. We're going to start first with a piece of video that was shared with us by Nancy Cook. This is of the tornado damage that has been occurred and happening in the area of LSUS. It blew through about 5:40. Nancy tells us that the windows of her home have been blown out because of the storm, and you can see there that the roof has been partially removed from that home due to the strong storm damage. Again, 5:40, there was video being shared on social media of several small tornadoes that were coming down, and you see the aftermath. Trees have been uprooted, branches and debris everywhere. People have already began the cleanup process in Nancy's neighborhood. But that was one of only several areas that have been experiencing tornado damage. This video comes to us from Keithville Ranch Road in Jefferson in Marion County. Dr. David Scott shares this video with us, and you see the size of the tornado that was blowing through that area. If you have storm damage, tornado damage, please send it to us, news@ktalnews.com. We will do our best to get what you have experienced on the air. Please be safe in recording any video or pictures of storms that are blowing through your area. Heed the warning from Josh and Todd. Take cover in the aftermath. Snap the photos let us know what you're experiencing, so that way we can get crews out to your area, and we can let law enforcement know of what you may be experiencing. If power lines are down, if there are fires in your area due to the power lines possibly catching debris on fire, things of that nature, we can let law enforcement know as well. But these are just two examples of the tornadoes that have blown through. Josh, I'm going to throw it back to you.
Yeah, and while you were kind of showing us that video, and thank you for that, Dan, looks like the warnings have all dropped off here, so none of the warnings have been extended. The plan, they say, is to let the Miller County storm warning go. They're not going to warn it downstream, but as we've seen with some of the cells out there tonight, they've been kind of tightening up. Then they'll weaken, but they can tighten back up again. So this storm will be eventually headed up into portions of Hempstead, is in Hempstead County, and may move up towards Nashville and Howard County. Again, nothing confirmed on the ground, no longer a tornado warning on that storm, but over the next hour we'll be moving up towards Howard County, and the tornado warning looks like it has also been dropped in McCurtain County as well, but that severe thunderstorm warning does continue there until 7:15. The threat there will be for some of that large hail, and we could see some damaging wind gusts. And again, just the south end of that storm will eventually make its way into the northern sections of Sevier County. Looks like the worst of it, at least for the time being, will stay to the north of UND Queen. And the tornado-warned storm that we had in Bossier Parish as well, those two cells are still making their way up through plain dealing, but no longer carrying the tornado warning. So again, at this point, it looks like this initial round, at least somewhat, the danger has come down with that. And now we're waiting that line of storms that's back through Dallas. Pretty much that entire line is warned with severe thunderstorm warnings. Looks like they have one tornado warning over in the Dallas area, and that is still a possibility for us as we go through the overnight hours. But again, round one moving out. Looks like round two will be moving in here over the next few hours. Todd?
Thanks, Josh. Since we don't have any tornado warnings left, for those in the back, I'm going to send you back to programming here. Just kind of give a quick recap on what we can expect here for the rest of the nighttime hours tonight. Again, we have had numerous reports of wind damage across the region. Also, obviously, a couple of tornado touchdowns. You just saw the video from South Shreveport. As Josh just mentioned, we have our storms currently across the northern half of the Arklatex, which seem to be coming down somewhat. So perhaps the threat from this is beginning to wind down. As I just mentioned, we're now going to be watching the storms that are off to the west of the Arklatex. These storms that are back here over north central and central Texas, these are going to be sliding their way towards the east fairly quickly. We'll move into the northwestern sections of the area probably in the next 2.5 to 3 hours, and then we'll see the storms move into East Texas and northwest Louisiana, probably say 9, 10 o'clock East Texas, and then midnight-ish or thereabouts as far as Shreveport. And you can see this entire line is warned for at the present time. In fact, look at the watches that we currently have in place across the Arklatex. We do have a tornado watch, which is in place because of the storms that we have right now. But you can see all the watches in place because of the storms that are off further to the west. Now, one thing that we haven't mentioned, again, we're going to be looking at the persistence of the rainfall. Let's show you what we could be looking at as far as rainfall potential. I believe they'll have that rain which is on the way here. This is a look at Futurecast and what it's showing as far as rainfall here. And you can see it's possible with the persistence of the rain. We probably will see, again, what we have outside right now. The main line comes through, and then as the upper level low moves through, another round of rain moves across these areas. So we'll have to watch for the potential for some flash flooding over the northern sections of the area during the nighttime hours tonight if flood watch is in effect for those areas. So once again, tornado watch does continue, but again, it does look like the round one, as we've been calling it, appears to be winding down, although we still have a couple of issues with some storms over mainly the northern sections of the area. We do have our main line back to the west, which is going to be moving through very late this evening and during the nighttime hours tonight. Josh and I will continue to watch these storms and, of course, give you further updates throughout the evening and nighttime hours tonight as conditions warrant.